Hello, thanks for watching. My name is Avert, and today is episode 6 of my Building a Time Tracking Application series. In the last 5 episodes, we've mostly been focused on the back end of this, and today I'm going to get started on the front end. I had a couple of different ideas of how to approach the front end. In the last couple of years, I've mostly used React. Um, there's some drawbacks to React. Like I think, not every application should be React, and I've had a long held belief that I think it would be good for people's defaults to be, just server rendered HTML. In fact, that's kind of how the web is designed to work, and I think in some ways, this over dependence on JavaScript for everything in the front end has been a negative. Um, However, a lot of people do React, and a lot of people, do front end this way. So there's also, it's surprisingly, I think we've kind of got to this point where, the very complex thing, which is React and all the build tools, doing everything on the client, which really is like the more complex thing has become the thing with the least amount of friction because it's become less surprising for people. Um, I think you can see that in all kinds of different places, and so and to me, this always felt like I don't know if we're going in the right direction with this, and but despite that, I've kind of stuck to this anyway because it is hard to do a completely new thing and convince your team like let's do a new thing because now you're on the hook for it. If the new thing doesn't go that well, or if there's not as much community support for this new thing, then that's it can be pretty challenging. So however, this is a more or less a hobby project, and not really sure how serious this is going to be, and so I have a little bit more flexibility because if I fail, I just fail myself, and you know, and maybe the viewers, but I think failure on is also interesting. I think to watch. Um, so I think I'm gonna try to do a server-side rendering thing, and just start here. And also, if I do this episode or maybe two more, and I end up not liking it, I think I can change my mind, and I think it's completely fine too. So yeah, after having made that decision is also the issue of like, am I going to use some kind of default framework for this? And for instance, like I could use something like I'm not now. I'm more thinking about a UI and CSS and stuff. So I thought about a couple here too, and I think so. So Tailwind is pretty popular these days, but I think that's just like a definitely no for me. It seems like we're just like inventing a new language and more complex build tools just to accomplish something that was already possible in CSS. Um, and so that's a hard no. And then there's also UI tools like Bootstrap, and Bootstrap has been around for a long time now, and so I'm kind of tempted to use that. But I think I'm also, for now at least, going to pass on that, and I'm basically just going to do just plain HTML and CSS. And also, of course, I'm not going to shy away from any JavaScript to do like other types of features, but are going to be enhancing kind of the front end and not necessarily render the entire front end. So more of a classic model. But yeah, so in terms of like UI frameworks and stuff, I think I'm going to start with nothing. I'm also just going to see how that goes, and I'm sure I'm going to run into some problems with that. I'm not a designer. I don't really make good-looking stuff. Also, not going to do the design in advance. I'm just going to start writing HTML and tweak CSS until it looks okay. And yeah, I'm very sure that like if I ever complete this application, then this is not going to be the final version of this. And so I was a little bit like maybe like doubting, like, is this really the right move for me, and like what should I choose? And instead of being paralyzed by choice, I think I just decided I'm just gonna do the one thing, which is like treat everything as a prototype, just do the thing, keep moving, and then kind of like adjust as I learn more. Because if I'm a couple hours in and I realize I'm really not liking what I'm seeing, then I think that's a much better kind of position to decide on a UI framework or something, instead of right now. And similarly with design, I'm just gonna kind of just like dive in, see if it turns out to something that is reasonable, or if we hate it, then I'll just take a different path then. Yeah, so no design, no specs. All I got is an API and a broad idea of what I want a user to be able to do. Cool. So that's it. So now in terms of like actual technology, so we're gonna keep using Node and TypeScript. I'm also gonna keep using Curveball for this. I'm making a separate repository for the front end, and so it's gonna be some separate endpoint. I'm also I lost my train of thought there. Oh, so one thing that I do really like is React on a server. So not necessarily to do like a full React thing on a server. I think I just really like the syntax of React. I like that, the TSX and JSX files very deeply integrate HTML with code. They're no longer strings, and I think it gives us so many advantages. Like we can easily do like a quick component. We can quickly we get type checking, which is just something I'm generally huge on. And I think just like having HTML part of syntax is just amazing. So I am going to keep using that, and I don't think that necessarily negates my earlier point about not using React, because that earlier point was really about like, do we want to render everything on the client? So I'm going to do server rendered React, Curveball, TypeScript, Node.js, and yeah, it's basically going to be a client for the API we've built in the last 5 episodes. Cool. So let's see how this goes. Let's see if I have the confidence to upload this episode after, because maybe it's going nowhere. I just don't know. Cool. So just want to make some small adjustments before I go. I have a feeling that my refresh rate is on. Yeah, my main monitor's refresh rate is in 24 hertz, and that's just way too low. So I hope that doesn't mess with the stream. Let's see. So far, it seems to have accepted that change. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's try this out. Cool. So I made a front end repository. So this is really where we're starting, and yeah, it's strange. So just like last time, I guess I just want to start with like a basic Curveball setup. So I'm going to do that also just like last time from my browser. GitHub. New repository. And I'm going to do that from, no, not here. So the Curveball framework, which is a micro framework like Koa and Express, has a starter template, and it's not as crazy as something like Create React App. It's just some useful defaults. And now, how do I use this template? Here. It's called TT app. And we're going public right from the start. So I should call it TD app here too. There we go. So since we use this basic template, it has all these things filled in already for us, but I'm going to change some of these. Not sure yet what the license will be, so I'm removing that for the moment. I guess we can just change curveball starter to bad gateway TT app. This one's also wrong. Okay, so I think we have a basic app now. Let's see if there's like something like a hello world. We got routes, home controller. Yeah, there's our hello world. Okay, let's just run this. Oh, interesting. It actually suggests packages to install. Wait, can I just do npmi first? I forgot. To get all our dependencies. And it's running on port 8500. Stupid Ubuntu pop-up. Hello world in JSON. Cool. That's what we want. Okay, well, this is not an API though. This is going to be a front end, so we don't necessarily want to use applications as JSON for this. We want text as HTML. And instead of a JSON, we just want to say hello world in HTML. There you go. Next step is to try to get the React stuff up and running. I think this is a real package. Okay. So now if I now rename controller.ts to tsx, and if that should let me do this. JSX element explicitly has any because no interface JSX.incentric elements exists. Is that because I need to explicitly do this? I'm definitely missing something. Cannot use JSX unless JSX flag has been provided. Oh, maybe that's the problem here. I think that's something that needs to happen in tsconfig. JSX is React, I think. Interesting. Nothing yet. Maybe I need to restart this. It's going to be some trial and error. Cannot find name React. Okay. Okay, cool. We're no longer getting the original errors. That's a good thing. Let's just see what the recommended solution to this is. It'd be nice if we don't have to always import the word React. Oh, can I just import the types? That would be nice. npm I types React. Types React DOM. React refers to an UMD global. The current file is a module. Considering adding an import instead. I'd like to just not import because it's just noise, but I'll do it. The new JSX doesn't require import of React. Okay, cool. Enable the JSX option. 3 modes: preserve, React, and React Native. React Native keeps the original. React creates this React create element, and preserve is also not what I want. Do I want this? Let's try it out. Okay, no errors. That's nice. No errors here. Cool. I think this did it. Whoa. Hoo-hoo. That's very interesting. It's so interesting. Okay. I'm very curious what this actually becomes. So Curveball has a React add-on, and it recognizes React elements, and so it looks like this transforms it to something else. Okay, this is the interesting part, I guess. Whoa, it's so strange. Owner, all these things are in here except this one. Because I guess I can't encode symbols. Okay. What if I do something like this? Okay, got a symbol, reacted element. Interesting. Okay, I'm just experimenting at this point just to see what kind of output we're getting. Or what these things actually are. Can we just do symbol react.element? True. Okay, cool. So I think this is helpful. So now I know what this new JSX emits. I think I can modify the curveball React component to use this. So interesting, eh? So I think this is a React 17 thing. I don't know what kind of React version we have in here. Maybe I just need to upgrade React and be done with it. No, it has 17. Okay. I think I forgot something. Yep. Okay, cool. Maybe all of this already works, and I'm just forgot something, because if I'm using the React middleware, I need to actually add it, and I didn't do that. Okay, we're good. We're good to go. I don't need to do any fancy hacks or anything. It already worked in the first place. It was just confusing. Today I learned. Okay, we're back. This is fun. Cool. I also just peeked into the React middleware and I saw that text HTML is already automatically set when you use React. Oh, maybe that's not true. Interesting. Something wants it to be JSON, so I don't like that necessarily. Let's take a look at this. This must have been some debug code that was left over with me. Okay, so if there's no content type header, it will set it, but I guess maybe the curveball core. Wow, I'm actually totally taking kind of a side quest here before I even start on what's supposed to be the main thing I'm going to work on. Okay. So no curveball assumes things are JSON. Which, you know, to be fair, is not always the best choice. So it only happens in source application. The handle function assumes. Okay, this is way too big of a change to make here. I think what I would like to do in the future is to not set the response type to hello JSON by default, but instead only set it if nothing else sets it. But I think that is something for an adventure for another day. Okay, let's just go back here. CTX the response type equals text/HTML. Char set equals UTF-8. We're back to hello world. Cool. Cool. Okay, let's just think for a second. What do I need? I need, first of all, I think I want to create like a formatter file, which is kind of a view basically. So let's just start with that. Formats HTML. So instead of CTX response type equals, no, that's still good. I just want to put this in a separate file, so there's less cruft. My hello world again. Or was it? We got a 4.4 now. Oh, no favicon. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Okay. We can go from here. So I'm gonna, from scratch, just build a basic framework for building a server rendered HTML application. So this is our main template. So right now everything is in the specific view for the specific home controller, but it seems like a good place to start. And then after that, I'll move on to separating kind of the template stuff. Still no good name. That's okay. What else goes in here? I'm gonna want a style sheet at some point. I'll just assume this will go in assets, CSS. Those seem pretty important. And the body. There's nothing in it right now. Okay, great. So just so you have an idea of how little planning I've done for this. I haven't really super thought about like basically how the application is going to look like, but I think, you know, it's all these things are the same anyway to some extent, and I'm definitely not going to do any crazy innovations with design right now. So really what it comes down to is like, I think, you know, everything needs a title, and we need a navigation. And the top two choices for navigations are we going to do a sidebar or are we going to do a top bar? I think I'm going to do a top bar because I don't really know exactly what kind of things I need in my navigation, and it's nice to, if we start at the top, it means that, you know, it's less space, and it will keep everything a little bit more minimal. I also like for this to work on mobile, so that means I don't have to think about menus falling out and all that stuff. So let's start with like basically that we need a header, and the header needs navigation, and then we need some stuff under there. So there, header. And a navigation. What do we need in navigation? So I'm actually going to start the API now because that will give us a slightly better idea for this. Address and use, okay. I should stop using the default port numbers for these. First one I'm going to change is, whoa, weird. What did I do there? The API is going to run on what port by default? I'm going to do $8901. And the app is going to run on 8902. Okay, this one's now broken. Why? Oh, because I didn't finish this. Cool. And here's the API. So the top important things are clients, projects, people. So I think that seems like a good thing to reuse. Actually, okay, this is interesting because maybe this is actually a good time to just integrate. You know what? No, let's not get distracted. I'm going to continue to work on this for now, and have these three things in my front end as well: projects, clients, people. So what I'm really right now building is an app interface more or less for let's see, for, you know, a user like me who hires contractors. I think the more important interface that I'm actually interested in is the interface that lets a person enter their own time. So let's add that as well. Cool. So that's our navigation. So I think, yeah, this might be a good place to start. Also do my timesheet here, and just lorem ipsum or something. To do an HTML version of this lorem ipsum generator. Why am I aligning all this, you ask? I don't know. This just doesn't feel right until I do. Cool. So this is our timesheet thingy. Got some errors here because assets CSS doesn't exist yet. So I think that's a good next step. Is actually let's add some CSS to all this. So assets to me goes outside of source. CSS main.css. Cool. Let's just build a very simple thing in here that makes it extremely obvious that this worked. Okay. Next thing is we need to actually add the ability to load these assets. So we got another middleware for that, which is the static middleware. Static middleware is for serving files. Pretty sure that we need to import this. Yeah. Or install it. Identify expected. Static is a reserved word in strict mode. Oh, that's sad. So this one has to be called something a little bit different, like static MW. What do you want for options? Static dir is, I just want a directory to the directory, sorry, I just need a path to the directory I just created. I guess my Node version is so old to use these. I want to start using that import syntax, but not yet. Not today. Also going to organize my imports a little bit, just get all the curveballs together, and then everything else, and then all the local stuff. Okay, that did not work. CSS main, is that what I called it? Assets CSS main. Okay, cannot find file. Interesting. Okay, it's possible that I don't fully understand how this works. What else can you tell me? Options. Okay, can I hover over this and just be like, tell me what you are, options? No. So there was I think I have a key binding to dive into definitions. There we go. Options, path prefix. By default, the public URL will be prefixed with the base name of the static dir option. Use the setting to override this. Okay, that seems fine. So I wonder if there's something broken in the middleware or if I did something wrong. Let's just do a console.log for this. Ah, okay, this makes sense because I assumed that assets is in my current path. It's in source, but actually it's one level up. So this is totally my fault. But although the error message could be a little bit better. There you go, it worked. Great. Okay, so now we have functioning CSS. Also, I'm just curious, can I change this to green without a restart? I hope so, because I don't want to constantly restart. Okay, awesome. Okay, let's start working on our time tracking application. Oh man, so now I have to do design, and I'm literally not going to design. I'm just gonna wing it. So first things first. Do I want to create a dark or a light application? Everything feels very difficult right now to choose. This is kind of a nice background color. Can I just use that? I thought it was like a dropper. Oh, there it is. Does this work? No, I can't go outside. I want this. Okay, too bad. Okay. How do I just get a color from here? I guess it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go for a light background for now. One thing I do know for absolutely sure is I'm gonna want some kind of sans serif font. I also know that I am gonna want this, also known as the IE6 model for boxes, that everyone after the fact decided was the best way to do CSS and margins and all that stuff. Hope I'm getting it right. I think my console can actually give me some warnings about CSS. And yep. This is weird. I don't like this. Some Mozilla extension. Who are you? Okay. Cool. I also know that our head, okay, is another kind of standard thing to do. I want to remove a lot of the margins. So h1, sorry, let's just start here. ul li margin 0. Cool. Also just padding 0, and we can fix this up later again. There. I think this should be true for h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6. There. Okay. So next thing is our header. I think needs to be some kind of inverted color. So why don't I just use some kind of color theme. There must be a better name for this. Color theme picker. Color scheme generator. Okay, great. Actually, I have my computer on night light, so I should turn it off so I get true colors. No, I don't want to know what's new, not today. Just want to get it going. Hello, let's go. Hit the spacebar to generate randomly generated colors. I'm a little sad because before it started rotating, I actually kind of liked the color theme. Like a color, click on the lock icon to keep it. Okay, interesting. Spacebar. Whoa. Interesting. This is such a good app. Hide. Oh, it's an ad. Oh my god, this app is crazy. Why are these all so good? How does it work? Oh man, I don't like the more recent colors anymore. Is this a good color? Well, they all have names. That's insane. Where do the names come from? This is so difficult. I guess I can just like go with one and then move on. Just gonna hold spacebar. Okay, I think I want something with a bright neon-like. This is nice. Okay, I'll do this. Let's start here. It's been a while since I used CSS, and CSS variables and everything, so I don't know exactly how they work. Okay. Root. Color 1. Yes, these aren't very good names, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to use these colors yet, so this is going to probably... We're going to get real names later. I have a Vim plugin that recognizes these colors and then actually give them an appropriate shade, but it's not very good. So it thinks these three are white and these are green. So yeah, I need to kind of, because my Vim actually supports like I think 256 colors and or maybe even the full true color range. But yeah, I think it seems to just use a couple of primary colors. It's pretty funny. Okay, so I think this might be a good header color, one of these two. So let's try that out, see how it looks. Is this how it works? No. No. Is it both? Is that changed? I'm a noob. Okay, no. Okay, it needs the full thing. Then what did I do wrong here? Oh, no. Let's make sure that I'm not doing something else wrong. Okay. What am I missing? Root did this right. Far, I did that right. Oh, there's no @ sign here. I don't know how I got an @ sign. There. Okay, good. I think I want a white foreground for all of this. And let's start working on navigation now. Cool. In this case, we don't want underlines. I mean, they're links, but they're menu items. And I think also important is that we want these to be next to each other. Actually, this might be better. Just do nav ul, and I'm just going to say display flex. Yep, that worked. This is the bullet points. What is that list? Don't have autocomplete for this. CSS list style. List style. None. Yep. Okay. I think I also want some spacing. Justify content. I'll just do some padding on the actual buttons for now. Probably change that later. Maybe we'll do it on the right side. Cool. Okay, it's definitely a little bit too smothered there in the corner, so the whole thing I think can use some padding. At the very least, yeah, let's just start with 5 pixels. Okay, and I think under the name of the application, I think we can use some more space too. Okay, this is pretty decent progress. So these are menu items. How can we make them look like more like something that is actually a menu? How do other people do that? They have a logo, I guess. That's maybe helpful. Should just make it bold. Is that how this goes? Damn, this is pretty ugly. Okay, if you're just tuning in, I'm not a designer, and I'm designing a frontend anyway with HTML and CSS. And I'm not very good at this. I'll take ideas and suggestions. Let me know. Okay, now for the main area. I also just want some padding for now. Okay, that's fine. We'll make stuff better later. Cool. All right, I'm gonna start making stuff a little bit dynamic. How long have we been streaming for? Exactly an hour. Maybe actually this is a good time to stop then. Yeah, I'll just. I think I'll end the episode right here. I think made some good progress. Got basically the basic framework ready for start working the application. It's not gonna win any beauty contests, but I think it unblocks me from continuing the application. I think that's the most important part. I just don't want to lose momentum by, taking too long in any kind of big decision or worry too much about things being imperfect. That's happening, I think, very much, and it's far from perfect. I think in the next episode, I'll probably start working on actually getting some data in here. The API has data, so really we can just add some interface here, and I think the most important thing is that we get this whole application to a point as soon as possible that I can use it and I can just put in my own time, and because I think that's a much better foundation to have a user, even if it's just me, to start making improvements, try to focus on what are the important things here. So I think that we'll see how that goes next time. As usual for these episodes, everything I do is open source. Everything goes on GitHub, and all the work I've done today will turn into a pull request. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then you can actually just look at the description, and you can find the pull request that I made in this entire episode. If I was going a little bit too fast somewhere, so I'll just be able to read along there. Cool. Thank you for watching, and maybe I'll see you the next time.